Hello there. Welcome to Winning with Numbers. This video is an introduction aimed at teachers in Winning with Numbers schools. Winning with Numbers is a whole school system to ensure that all children learn basic, foundational number knowledge. Winning with Numbers doesn't cover the full maths curriculum. Instead, its focus is just on the central and essential number fluency. You should continue to teach maths in the normal way, but use Winning with Numbers as a daily standalone program, just as many schools do with the Phonics program. In fact, in many ways, Winning with Numbers is more like teaching phonics than it is like teaching maths. For example, just as your phonics program teaches children to learn to read so that they can read to learn, Winning with Numbers is also structured to give children essential, foundational, basic number knowledge, which they can then use in mathematical and wider contexts. And just as your phonics program steps in and proactively teaches children to learn to read, making sure no child is left behind, Winning with Numbers does the same for this foundational content. It gives children that automatic response to basic number tasks. Tasks such as reciting sequences of numbers, reading numbers, looking beyond reading the number to see its true value, and tasks such as counting accurately, and then learning to not count as children recall key number facts. You'll also see content in Winning with Numbers such as children reading number lines intuitively and carrying out mental calculations, sometimes with jottings. So, you can think of Winning with Numbers as a partner to your phonics program. They are both highly structured, with a teaching style that's explicit and direct. As with your phonics program, we use whole school structures to maintain a tight system, whilst also allowing you to have quick and easy preparation of lessons. For example, children receive a 20-minute daily session, learning is teacher-led with explicit instruction, cohorts progress together. We use the same Winning with Numbers program for intervention and support where needed, which is always a whole school priority, and regular screening takes place to quickly identify and respond to any red flags. The Winning with Numbers teaching resource provides all you need to implement the program, and later on you'll see how the same resource will allow you to give children independent learning tasks that really boost the impact of the program. Phonics for Maths has a natural simplicity to the progression. You can't count to 20 before you can count to 10, and you can't double 80 before you can double 8. So the progression is super sequential. At the heart of the Winning with Numbers journey are 300 sequential learning objectives, which we call wins. We want the children to acquire that piece of number knowledge. And we want them to have that winning feeling as they see for themselves how easy it is to move through this progression. You'll notice that the 300 wins are arranged in a simple straight line. This straight line sequence is another whole school structure that you can lean on to make your teaching easy to prepare and high impact. As you start to implement Winning with Numbers, you'll get to know the content of the 300 wins in more detail. But for now, let's just look at 3 features of this straight line progression. Firstly, it's very easy to use. If you're teaching win 126, for example, then you know to teach win 127 next. This is part of what makes Winning with Numbers so quick and easy to embed in schools. Sometimes we feel as though we're just teaching somewhere in the maths curriculum, in the cloud of things to teach. But with the Winning with Numbers straight line sequence of learning, you always know where you are, where you've been, and where you're going next. This takes us to the second feature of the straight line sequence. Whenever we come to teach a new win, we're always leaning on the child's background knowledge. For example, if we want a child to double 43 for the very first time, then they must already be able to double 40 and double 3. The 300 wins are sequenced so that everything is in the right order. If it is taught in sequence, the child will have the background fluency that supports the new learning, and progress is smooth and strong. and so to our third feature. Even though the wins are in a straight line, they are all ultimately interconnected with each other. And so the straight line sequence actually helps us to see these connections easily when we need to see them. Using the straight line sequence to see and understand the connections between the wins is excellent for developing your own expertise with teaching this content. You can see clearly how teaching is really building over time, and you can see how what you're teaching now relates to future learning. One crucial aspect of this simple navigation along the line is what happens when we see gaps in learning. At each win, there is a feature called the Remind Me feature, and this takes us straight to the learning gap so that we can address it and prepare the child to start moving forwards along the sequence again. Now, let's start to think about where in the sequence we will begin to position our teaching. The first 100 wins are concerned with the numbers to 10, so if you're a teacher of early years children, you'll want to position your teaching here, aiming for children to finish the reception year at win 100. The middle 100 wins are concerned with two-digit whole numbers, so numbers up to 100, and this is ideal for teachers of Year 1 and Year 2 children. We aim for Year 1 to finish at win 150, and Year 2 children to finish the year at win 200. And the final 100 wins are concerned with larger numbers and decimal numbers. And so this is ideal for teachers of Year 3 and Year 4 children. We aim for Year 3 children to finish the year at win 250, and for the programme to be finished at win 300 by the end of Year 4. You can expect it to take some time before children start hitting those end-of-year milestones, and quite often when schools first start using Winning with Numbers, teachers need to go back into the content from earlier year groups to begin with. This will probably involve Year 5 children and possibly even older children than that. Accessing the Winning with Numbers programme is always a good idea if the learner hasn't yet completed the course. Well, we hope you found that introduction to Winning with Numbers useful, and now it's a good idea to move on to the next video, which begins to explain the Winning with Numbers teaching resource in more detail.